And Senator, I want to ask you about the topic of discussion and attention on Capitol Hill yesterday. You were one of, the lawmakers who voted against the For the People, the sweeping Voting Rights Act introduced by Democrats yesterday. You and really the entire Republican caucus. Were you disappointed that Senator Joe Manchin ultimately voted in favor of proceeding with the move to debate the Voting Rights Act on the Senate floor?
No, look, it was going to take 60 votes to get on the bill to begin with. In other words, in order to debate a bill in the United States Senate, it takes 60 votes to agree to start debate. What Senator Manchin wanted to do was to send a message saying, look, I've got some things. I know this bill isn't perfect, and he wanted to offer his amendments to it. So he said, I want to get on, I want to debate the bill, and I want to offer my amendments to the bill. Most of us on the Republican side have the same opinion about the bill. We think it was a major incursion by the federal government into voting rights that normally are handled by the states. We didn't like the idea that they had changed the Federal Election Commission from a bipartisan number to a partisan number that would have been controlled by one party or the other all the time. We thought that was a major mistake. We didn't like the idea that the federal government was now going to take on the role of matching small donations to the tune of 6-1, so that taxpayers would be funding multiple federal elections at the same time. And that money comes from taxpayers who may or may not agree with all of the different candidates that are on the ballot. We also didn't like the idea that they were basically going to take away a lot of the current identification requirements for voters at the polls. The vast majority of Americans say if you're going to vote, you should be able to show your ID. And the states have required that. This would have dramatically relaxed those rules. We just didn't simply think that that was the right thing to do. We also thought the fact that the claim for the reason why this bill was because of legislation that's in a lot of states right now that is basically look at either expanding or retracting or changing the guidelines under which people cast their votes. But this bill came around long before the pandemic and long before this last election. Most of what was in this bill was put together way back in 2019. So for most of us, we've looked at it. We simply disagree that the federal government should be that directly involved in monitoring and directing the states as to how they do their electoral processes.